Welcome to the Mental Funny Bone, a podcast where mental health meets humor and heart and a healthy dose of laughter. I'm not doing the whole thing because I already screwed it up. So welcome to the Mental Funny Bone.
Here we
We're
are.
going to talk about funny shit. Today we're going a little off script. That would make it sound like we actually have a script sometimes, but we actually don't ever.
We have a general outline sometimes.
Today, I actually have probably a better outline for today's episode than I have for any other episode we've done. But today we're going to do a catch-up episode because we haven't been able to record a normal episode for a while. May kind of got away from us.
Where did it go?
We did 2 interviews, which were 2 fantastic interviews, and I love them so much. But we don't want to give you 2 interviews in a row, so we need to throw just normal at you. But we also haven't recorded in so long, so we have a bunch of shit we want to talk about. So that's what we're going to do today. We're not focusing on a book. We're not doing that. We're focusing on us and what we have been doing. And that's it.
That's amazing. Are you gonna start? Because I feel unprepared.
Do you want me to start? I don't know. I feel like we should talk about naked cats again. I feel like that was wasted while we weren't recording.
So, well, actually, I'll just start, but I'm not going to start with naked cats. I'm going to start with jujitsu because my brain went from naked cats and talking about Facebook Reels to what was the last episode we recorded where we didn't talk? We didn't do an interview. And I was like, was it something about the Pope? And then it was like JD Vance.
Yeah,
and
the statues.
Pope,
yeah, they
how JD Vance killed the Pope. I was like, was that it? I'm like, no, there was one after that. And then I thought about how we got a new Pope since then, and I thought that would take a little bit longer.
Yeah. Have we haven't talked about have we talked about the new Pope? I don't know.
I don't think so. But we got a new Pope, and your mom knowing how much we love the Pope saga, texted you first, I think, and said we got a new Pope. And when she didn't get an immediate response, then she texted me.
She was calling. She was calling. This wasn't even text.
Called.
This wasn't even
these were messages?
These were phone. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Right. But in rapid succession.
Talk about this already, but I think that maybe it's just I've told the story to so many other people. So let's just keep going. If you've heard it before, just there's a little button on whatever device you're on, I'm sure, that has a little little circle and it has like a 25 in the center. Just hit that a few times.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, go ahead.
Plus, I'm pretty sure it wasn't that entertaining the last time we told it.
Yeah. So we should tell it again.
I think the last time, what did we talk about? We talked, had we gone to pick up Olivia yet? Did we do that pilgrimage? I think that we did. I think that was the last record. The last record that we did.
Like
recording?
Record.
Ding.
Then I do think we talked about the Pope because that happened the day after we drove home from Liv.
Right, because Olivia was there and your mom was trying to get in touch with her too.
Yeah, she ended up calling Olivia, who ended up answering to tell us that there was white smoke.
Yes, this all sounds familiar now.
Yes.
100%.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Do you want to tell us about jiu-jitsu?
Yes, back to that story. One day while I was cleaning my own home, which I don't do ever, but for some reason I needed to clean my own home. Anyway, I was cleaning and I decided that I needed to sit down and look up jiu-jitsu places because my friend Jeannie, her husband does jiu-jitsu. Yeah, and I was like, I gotta check that out. I gotta look at that. And as I was looking at it, I was like, I think this is something that I could still do at 50-ish.
Yeah.
2-ish. And I was like, I wonder, maybe that would be something to kind of keep me occupied. It would be a way to move away from focusing so much on work like I have been the past couple of months, and a hobby outside of the house where I have to go there. Something that I'm not really good at. Like,
because you've mastered yoga, so you needed to move on.
Well, it's not mastering the yoga. It's just being
bored with the yoga.
It's just being ADD and being like, I could still do yoga. I'm not cheating on yoga.
Right.
I'm not, but I could also try this jujitsu because it seems fun. And it turns out that they'll give you like a whole list of places you can go. There's one, fairly close and on a whim because ADHD also struggles with impulse control. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to email him right now because,
Yep.
we've talked about how good I am at emailing people and so I just emailed the guy and I'm like, hey, I'm kind of interested. I'm way too old. I'm way too slow. I'm not flexible. He was like, great. You sound perfect. Do you want to try a class out tomorrow? And I was like, well, now I'm kind of committed.
Should have thought of that.
Right. I'm like, well, I can't puss out now and say, no, I don't, never mind. That was just a procrastination tactic because I didn't want to clean the toilet. So he's like, oh, it'll be so exciting to have you in class. Here's the schedule. Just pick one of these. There's one tomorrow. There's one Wednesday. So I went to the jiu-jitsu. You know how when you're going to do something for the first time and it seems like a good idea, but you're by yourself now
Mm-hmm.
and you have to go from the car to the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
And then you're sitting in the car and you're thinking about all the reasons why, perhaps this isn't a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, what if they're gonna laugh at me? I
So
don't
don't you
fit
wish you
in
had the
here.
impulse, the ADHD impulse at this point? Because it could just
Right,
impulse you right out of the
right,
car.
right. Where does that go when the ADHD anxiety turns up?
Yeah.
It just opens the door and lets it in. Come on in.
Yep.
I'll be over here.
Yeah.
When you guys are done, I'll come back. Stupid impulse. So, I walk in and the Travis, thank you, Travis. I appreciate you greeting me. He's like, you must be Christine. I was like, is it because I look old? He was like, you're going to need a gi. And I was like, a what now? Like,
You know
a
what a
gi.
gi is.
But, it still sounds stupid. Like, I understand why we call it that, but why don't we just call it pajamas?
Isn't ghee clarified butter too?
Yes.
Okay.
More delicious than what
Just
this guy handed me.
knew it sounded familiar for something else.
So he's like, we have extras here. And he hands me the martial arts pajamas
Yeah.
and a belt. And he's like, hey, the women's changing room is in the back. And I can already tell, like, there are no rooms back there except for like a closet. There's like a
Yeah.
closet. It's the women's changing room. It is
You remember the
stacked.
women's changing room at the Taekwondo studio in Arizona, right? Okay.
Not until I walked into this changing room.
Right.
And I'm like,
Right.
this
That's
feels
like
yeah,
a closet that doesn't
yeah,
actually
this
have a
is
door.
yep, here we are. There's no lock. I'm hoping and then it occurs to me, like, there's no girls here. It smells so bad. There are no girls here ever. Like, it stinks. Like,
Yeah.
sweat and boys and fear and aggression, all of it.
Yes.
So I put on my thing and do you know how ours from Taekwondo, they had like a little tie on the one side so you could at least like secure the one part
Yeah. Mhm.
to the other part. No,
Yeah.
these don't have that. It's like a robe and then you gotta tie the tie.
Wait, so it doesn't even tie on the outside? Like your tie is literally your belt
Right.
is literally
Right.
just holding
The
it on.
only thing keeping
Do you
this
know what would happen with that? Like, I mean, I can just see it's all boob. It's all sports bra. Like,
it gets better. It gets better. So they give me the smallest size that they have for grown-ups.
yeah.
So I put that on.
Probably very large on you because you're just a tiny little girl.
I'm just a speck of dust.
Can I get a kid's extra small?
Do you guys have do you have this? So and then I have to tie the belt, and the belt, everything is big, and the belt
Yeah.
is like, I'm like, whew, wrapping that thing around myself like 15 times. And then trying to remember right over left, left over right.
Yeah,
Something has to
yeah.
tuck under because I have all this stuff. And then I walk out and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. We'll you can tell us what you want, and we'll order you one if you want to stick with it."
I want something that fits me. Thank you.
I'm like, "Do you have anything like for kids?" They're like, that. Ladies are kind of like a weird size. I was like, "Is it
Okay.
because of the boobs?"
Yeah.
And he was like,
Okay.
"I don't know anything about that." And I was like,
Okay.
"Oh, okay. We're not going to talk about the boob. All right, fair
All right.
enough."
Your boobs do not exist. We just ignore them.
Right. I mean, not that everyone isn't grabbing them 15 minutes later, but cool. All right, we won't talk about them. Anyway, so we start this warm up and no one tells me anything. No one says, "Hey, welcome to jiu-jitsu." The purpose of jiu-jitsu is to hurt the other person bad enough where they tap you and ask you to stop hurting them. I was like, "No, no,
Nope.
no one mentions it. No one mentions it." And then we start running fucking laps
Yeah, that's
around.
the worst. That's the worst. Go ahead. This is
And
great. This is great.
it's much longer than I intended it to be. But
Mhm.
we're running laps around
It's
the
okay.
thing. And for some reason, they let me stand where I have to lead the lap running. And I am like prancing like the Pink Pony Club, right? I'm wearing this thing that doesn't fit. My belt is not tied right. And like my heart is going so fast.
Why? Why did they have you leading? Like, I have to
I don't-
say, I don't understand these places. I don't understand these places. Like, do the people, I guess the people who own them, like, just don't have that anxiety bone? I don't, like,
right.
they don't,
Like, do you
they are the
not?
definition of not giving a fuck.
These are like the honey badgers of group
Yeah,
activities.
they
Like,
are. Yeah,
meanwhile,
you're
like
right.
I am sweating,
Hives, hives.
like, and I'm doing what we do, and I'm like, hey, you guys, I'm gonna pull over and let the young kids go. Fuck, idiot. Now I'm telling dad jokes.
Did the
I look
insurance guy come out?
right. That's all I can hear in my head. Is that guy with that fucking mustache saying how I'm turning into my parents? When like everyone in this class is at least a decade younger than me. Do you remember Bruce, who took Taekwondo classes with us?
Yeah, he was like 90,
Right. That's what I
right?
feel
That one?
like. That's what I feel like.
He was the
And
best. All I could see his cute
just
little face. I
just
loved him.
shaking
He
and
was
like
the best.
punching
He just picked his leg up. I loved it. He
a
was
little
the
bit,
fucking
a little
best.
bit. I mean, he
He
showed
was the
up to
best.
class all the
Yeah,
time,
he loved it.
right? So now we have to do the warm up, and my impulse control should have then the next day kind of led me to maybe look something up on jujitsu because
Yeah.
they're like tossed around words. And when I first went to CrossFit, I did a significant amount of research on
Yeah.
CrossFit. So I knew the words. They're like, all right, forward rolls. And I was like, okay, forward rolls. And I like put my little hands down.
I would do like I could see a little kid
Again,
at gymnastics.
again, I'm first. I don't know how it
Why?
happened. Like I pulled over. And I'm looking around like maybe someone will be like, "Do you need help? Do you know what you're doing?"
Right.
No, they just let me go. And I'm like, blip. And I flop over like a fish and land on my back. And then I look over at the 10-year-old boy next to me, and he's got his shoulder tucked and he does his flip and he jumps up like he's ready to fight fucking Spider-Man. And I'm laying there on my back like a turtle. Like a turtle. All right, so we get through warm-ups. And now we have to do things. And this motherfucker asks for a volunteer, right? Like
Why would you volunteer?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. I swear. I did not. And but I'm like looking down and
Yeah.
not paying attention. And then the next thing I hear is this wham, wham. I was like, what is happening? I guess and no one tells you, but there's get that dick out of your mouth.
You saw me put it in.
There's a certain way that you're supposed to fall, but no one told me how you're supposed to fall.
No,
Like
you
you're
just
just
know.
you're supposed to like prevent a concussion. So you like want to tuck your head and then you want to like slam with your hands.
Okay.
Like I don't know why because it just feels dramatic. Like why do like am I just making noise to let people know to get out of the way, or was this whole sport founded by a bunch of like Korean drama queens? I don't know. Brazilian drama queens, whatever.
Is that what jujitsu is?
It's BJJ is how you abbreviate it.
Nobody needs
And
an
once again, I can't. Are you choking on that penis? Oh my god, you are. Spit it out. Spit it out. Right. BJJ.
Nobody needs an extra tray. This actually, we could end the podcast right now because this is
we're good. It's freaking
fucking
hilarious.
gold.
Honestly, like,
But what does
and this
BJJ stand for?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Also, Jiu-Jitsu, whenever you
No,
say it,
no, it's checking on me to make sure I'm okay. Yeah, I just
that's choked on a dick.
choked on a gummy dick. No, not on a BJ, a gummy dick.
BJJ was mentioned, and then she choked on a dick.
She said BJJ, and then I choked on the gummy penis. Because they taste good.
Oh my god. This is so funny. So funny.
Listen, and nothing
Right.
I have in my script for the day is even like nothing I have is funny. So
Right.
okay. So what does BJJ stand for again?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
The Juja.
It's
That's
two
the
J's.
second J. Okay.
Jiu-Jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu. So it's two J's. Okay.
BJJ. BJJ. Right. So again, no, there's no like note card to tell you anything. So this guy falls, he's wham, and I'm like, maybe I can opt out of the falling down part. And then the instructor is giving you we're doing drills, right? So he's telling you how to get somebody to submit, and that he starts out on his back, like picture it, he's on his back and he puts his legs up in the air. And then the other guy like wiggles up in there, and then he closes his legs around this other guy. And I'm like, I
am so thankful I didn't go with you. Can you imagine?
No, we would have been a disaster, because I was like, I don't know about all this. And I'm nervous.
Just say wiggles up in there again.
He does. He's like, he just wiggles up in there. So their hips are touching. And I'm like, we're not allowed to talk about how my boobs don't fit in this pajama top. But you are touching wieners with that guy.
You are at the ballet. It's so weird.
I mean, all right. So that's called something like that. One of these is a guard, and I can't remember, because every time I go to look it up, I'm like, and then he wiggled up in there and locked his legs. So this guy is like, all right, well, I'm going to grab and I am used to Taekwondo. Like, I want to move quick and stay away from you. And I just want to bump you on the chest and get a point.
Yeah.
This guy is like, well, we're going to manage the space between us. And if you can manage the space between the two of you, then you can win. So he latches on to this guy's pajama top. And now it is abundantly clear why we don't bother tying these things, because he latches onto that and like pulls this guy. And this guy's like a pretty good at jiu-jitsu himself. So he like throws himself like, and now I don't see what's happening anymore, because these two are just wrestling. And then Chad, I love Chad's the other coach, and Chad's like, all right, well, we're going to put him in the shoulder of justice. I said, you stop it right now. You stop making things up. Are you guys making fun of me? Is that what this is?
Is this a prank? Is this a prank
Like,
that all the new people have to go through? Are you fucking with me? That's what's happening.
I was like, are you guys fucking with me? Is shoulder of justice a thing? Like, you can tell me. Like, I'm going to be good-spirited about it.
Is any of this a thing? Like, I feel like everything is a joke.
Right. Hilarious. So we do the shoulder of justice. And I guess, and this is when finally somebody explains something to me. He's like, yeah, what you're trying to do is cut off the blood supply to the brain. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, you want to get take your thumb and put it right on their carotid artery, and then do the same thing on the other side. I was like, No, it's okay. And then when someone does that to you and you feel funny, tap out. I was like,
no.
I'm going to tap out right now.
I'm tapping.
I don't like it.
I tap.
I don't like it.
Like, so they come at you and I'm tapping.
Oh, you stay over there. So now we do the drills, and I'm terrible at it. And then we're gonna roll. I was like, what is this? So sparring in jiu-jitsu is rolling. We're rolling. Like, someone will come up to you and be like, would you like to roll? And I was like,
let's roll. See,
Right.
I just see you guys rolling around like panda
Right.
bears.
Right. Yes, this is exactly what it looks like. When I do it, it looks like one of those pill bugs. Like I just fold up and that's what it looks like. Now everyone else, like the boys are like throwing their legs up over top of people and I'm like, well, I have both dinosaur arms and dinosaur legs. Like I don't know how long your arms are, but mine, I am not going to be able to do that ever. Like, unless you're stretching them at some point. Cool. So it turns out there's one other middle-aged, well, young, okay. There's one other 20-year-old girl, Angie, and she's married to Chad. So she's been doing jiu-jitsu for ever and a day.
Yeah.
But Angie and I have the same kind of ADHD.
Yeah.
So we spend a lot of time giggling,
Yeah.
which is sort of the saving grace, and thank God. And then Angie will forget that I don't know what I'm doing and like wham, whip me to the carpet, which is fun. And I'm like, okay, well, how did you do that? And she's like, I don't remember.
Yeah. That's
Like
a lot.
Chad will go like he's like, all right, it's the shoulder of destiny, and then the arm shrug of paradise, and the left chicken wing of death. I'm like, I don't
love chicken wing.
you guys are you're definitely making shit up. I don't know. And my brain at that point of the day will hold one thing.
Not even.
One thing. And he's like, all right, arm goes here. And then I forget what this arm does. So I am constantly like looking around the class while holding on to Angie's shoulder.
Yeah.
Like that. Like we're dancing. And she's like, I don't remember what to do. I'm like, you've been doing all right. That's okay.
Right.
But she'll call Chad over, and then Chad will go through it with us real fast, and then he'll leave again. And I'm like, can you call him again?
I still don't understand.
Can you get him to come back? Show him your boobs.
I feel like you're showing boobs anyway. It doesn't
Oh my
matter.
God, yes, there's nothing but belly hanging out everywhere. Anyways, Angie and I spar for a little while, and she's like, oh, you can roll with Paisley. Paisley's 12.
Yeah.
Paisley's 12. Her dad, Tim, also takes classes. So I don't know anything at all at this point other than Shoulder of Destiny, which I'm never going to be able to do because it takes more than this. So Paisley, on the other hand, competes in this, and she's a higher belt
Yeah,
than
of course.
me. So Paisley comes over and grabs me by the shirt and then pulls me down to the ground immediately onto my knees, and then does a flip where she puts her legs around my neck.
Oh.
And then I just have to immediately tap out. And then Tim, her dad, is like, put up a little bit more fight than that. She's 12. She still sleeps with a nightlight. And I was like, Tim, I sleep with a nightlight. So that's that. And then that was like the end of that class. And the point of this whole story is there's a couple old guys, and I'm talking to the old guys, and I'm like, hi, I'm Chris. Because at this point, Paisley has tossed me to the ground. I've shown everyone my boobs. Everyone knows I'm an idiot who will joke around. And so now I feel okay. And I'm like, oh, hey, this is Mike. This is Mark. I was like, oh, like apostles. And the one guy's like, there's no Mike Apostle. And I was like, huh.
Interesting.
And he's like, that's funny. And Tim, who has wild ADHD, actually nobody in this class doesn't have ADHD. I offered to pass out Ritalin the other day. I was like, you guys are making me crazy. Tim says, oh, that's funny because that's Father Mike. I was like, you're fucking with me again. Shoulder of Destiny, Father Mike. I'm like, come on, guys. That's enough of the initiation.
Enough.
No, Father Mike is actually, he's like, no, I'm actually a Catholic priest. And I was like, oh.
Congratulations on the Pope.
Right. I hear you got a new boss.
Yeah.
There's no Mike Apostle.
I mean, there could be. I feel like there should be.
Archangel?
St. Michael.
Right.
We went to his school.
There's a Mike somewhere.
Yeah. In the Bible.
Right. And then they were telling me that this other guy is the old guy. And I was like, great. How old are you? 44.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you go back. Like you're like a jiu-jitsu person now.
I don't know that I'm ever going to be a jiu-jitsu person, but I will go back, and I think it'll be fun once I figure out what I'm doing there.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so the second time I'm like, hey, I don't want to interrupt anyone's flow, but can you just tell me what I'm supposed to be doing? And
Yeah,
Chad's like, yeah, get past my guard. I was like, how?
yeah. This is what I don't like. I don't understand why.
How?
Like you just get thrown in. Like shouldn't there, I don't.
I don't, it's and then there was another new guy who showed up yesterday, and I was like, thank God, someone who's newer than me. This guy, it was his first jujitsu class, but he must have wrestled in high school.
Yeah.
So he is definitely just in it to win it. And I am still afraid of hurting Paisley. So I don't like this guy, like he's like gouging Chad in the eyes.
Yeah, I think that's where like the whole cutting off the blood to the brain. I think that's where I would have checked out.
Well, and no one will do it to me because Angie won't risk getting hurt. And Paisley's 12, so she would rather just wrestle her dad. She's like, I'm gonna go partner up with my dad. I'm like, seems like a better idea. Cool.
Yeah. How much do you pay for this?
It's really cheap.
Okay.
I paid $10 for three classes
Oh,
so
that's
far.
great.
Yeah, but I also had to buy the pajamas. It's not like, do you remember when we bought our pajamas at Taekwondo?
Mhm.
And they were like, the patch goes here.
Yeah.
These go up the sleeve, but only here.
Yeah.
And it has to be within a 9.
There were measurements.
Yeah. They were like, what do you want on it? I was like, what?
Pink glitter.
I was like, do you have any with unicorns?
I would like rainbows and glitter, please. That would make me happy. Maybe throw a butterfly on there.
And then Father Mike is standing next to me and he's like, yeah, I bought my own embroidery machine. I was like,
Oh.
what did you put on yours? And he's like, devils. I was like, well, all right, cool. And I was like, well, I'm going to see. And he showed me his embroidery machine. And I was like, I meant the devils, but cool. Yeah, there it is.
Wow. Wow.
Right. And Chad's like, this one is a snake. There's no rules about what I can have on my
I feel
on
like
my
this is
gi.
much better. Like I like this. I like that part of it.
It is wild. I'm like,
Can
so
you
what
just
should
take
I
a
get?
marker to it?
They don't give a shit. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, one kid showed up in like a blue one, and the other kids got like a black one with red shit on it. I got a black one with black on it because eventually I'm going to have like rainbows and like flowers and stuff
I
on
want
mine.
you to bedazzle it.
My God, with little rhinestones on it.
I'm going to buy a bedazzler just so we can bedazzle your gi.
Listen, you also would have been so proud of me because it took me all 3 lessons before I mentioned that I already had a black belt in something else.
Wow. I'm very proud of you for that.
And even then I knew nobody cared.
Yeah. That's
Nobody cared.
I'm just proud of you for going because I wouldn't have done it. Like everything you just said, especially at the beginning, it hurts.
Why am
like,
I first?
Yeah. No.
And laying there on my back like a turtle.
Yeah.
And everything I do is completely wrong and makes it worse for me than before. Chad was like, get past my guard. And I was like, well, quit moving. Why would you tell me to get past your legs and then wiggle around like that? He's like, no, you want to immobilize my legs. And he's like, you get down. So he grabs my one foot and pins my other foot with it. So now I can't move my feet. And he's like, all right, sit up. And then I go to sit up and he grabs my shirt and pulls it down. And he's like, all right, really? He's like, let me just get you into side hustle or whatever it is.
I'm tired.
Right. That is the other thing. Like for the first time yesterday, like I felt like I knew enough where I could like actually try to really roll. And I made it 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And I was like, I give up. I'm going to tap out because I'm going to die.
Tired.
I came home and I was shaking because I hadn't eaten enough. Like,
oh yeah.
I was like, the fuck is happening? You're just rolling around on the ground.
Yeah, that takes, I think it's like a real sport though.
Well, there you go. There's a half an hour that we'll have to have Becca cut down. You want to just start again?
I think it's mostly gold. I think that's wonderful. I choked on a dick, for Christ's sake.
But yeah, I mean, it is wild, and I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm having a ton of fun, and every time I walk in, I'm like, I don't belong here. I don't belong here. I don't belong here. I don't belong
And you
here. I
still
don't
do
belong
it.
here.
Like that's the big thing.
And I'm like, fuck that. I'm gonna
I belong
like the
anywhere I
second
want,
time.
right.
The second time was the worst because I'd already used up my I'm new here.
Yeah.
And as I was walking in, I'm like, you know what? Fuck these motherfuckers. I belong here.
Right.
I am going to walk in this door as if I am the baddest bitch that ever walked in here. And then I am going to be funny as hell and everyone is going to freaking love me.
Yeah. And then you open the door.
And then I was like, why does it smell so bad? My God. What stinks? Did someone leave their sweaty gi like under a radiator?
It smells like at the deck hockey game when the whole team runs past you at the same time.
Well,
Like we're even outdoors. Oh my Lord.
what is like? Do you guys know it smells like? I came out of the ladies' dressing room and I was like, do you guys know how bad it smells in here?
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, we can't do anything about it. That's just the way we smell. And I was like, I brush my teeth before I come here because I don't want, I'm going to be close to you. I don't.
I don't know.
Crazy. All right. Well, there you go. That's what I have going on. Just that.
I like it. I like the jiu-jitsu.
Just that. And AI for ADHD. So I won't ruin it. But there's a book out there called AI for ADHD, and I used the shit out of it today, and probably did 4 things I'd been putting off for 5 months.
Yay.
And it
That's
just kind of pushed me through the beginning part of it. And there you go.
There you go.
It was awesome.
So check it out. It's on Amazon by Lindsay Scola, like cola, but with an S. All right.
What do you got? Your turn. I'm done talking.
I don't have anything because it's because I'm not, because my shit's actually serious. And I'm not sure the last time I was serious about anything.
Before, I know this is kind of role reversal because the last time I was sort of whimsical and you were serious was like a long, long time ago, I think.
Yeah.
Before we go, Octane MMA in Monongahela. If anyone is interested in doing jujitsu, they are nice, they are friendly. Honestly, I kid around a lot about how no one told me how to do anything. But every time I stood around and looked like I needed help, somebody was like, tuck your shoulder, tuck your head, and flip over.
Tuck, flip.
They're like, don't do that. Don't do that. Stretch your back out. Everyone's just very nice. And I think that I offended the old guys because I was like, everyone here looks so young. I'm so old. And they were like, yeah, well, we're just old people. And I was like, no, I don't mean you.
No.
I don't. Sir, I am older than you by a decade.
Sir.
Father.
I do. So we should probably do a little shout out for our fan mail. I can't remember the last time we did that. Kim sent us some pictures of her and the Bishop and the Olin Mills. The Olin Mills pictures are,
my God,
unbelievable.
Have you seen the ones from Jamie Rudder?
No, did she send them?
She might have just texted them to me because I was like, why are you and your sister dressed like your mom?
Yeah, right.
Is that a blazer, Rudder?
Right. So we had that, and then Rudy sent us some feedback. Yeah, he wanted to let us know there are definitely gummy dicks.
Good, we got them.
I got them. I actually had them. I don't know how you forget about having gummy dicks, but whatever. And he wants to know if we've ever seen the movie Bad Parents. I have not.
I don't think so. I think this
Netflix?
was in my Disney era. Oh, kitty.
Yikes.
Sorry, cat knocking shit over.
I think it might be on Netflix. I might have to check it out. Okay, next, shout out to Zoltan Design for their May Mental Health Month social media posting, the Mental Health Awareness Month Zen with Zoltan Designs, where they featured us. So that was super cool. So thanks, Rick and Julia, who put it together. You guys are awesome. And I also reached out to our friend all the way across the country, Misty. I haven't heard from her. We haven't heard from her in a while. I'm not sure, but Misty reached out to us last summer to let us know that, we helped get her into counseling or into therapy. And it's an email that made both of us cry. That was wonderful. Anyway, so I reached out to her to see how she was doing, and she's still doing therapy. She's doing the hard things that everybody should be doing. That's awesome. But she also shared with us pictures of her grandbaby, Margot. So cute.
Margot is an awesome name.
And I love the name. And she's just so cute. And the picture has the baby hands up by the head sleeping. I surrender. So, yay. And she said she's still listening. She's a little bit behind, but aren't we all? We
Right.
all are. Okay, so on to me. I bought a, well, I bought a little coach training thing that I've been working on. I think I mentioned that already in the last episode, maybe. But I also joined a group that Mark Manson has recently started with his new podcast called Solved. And what it
This is
is,
awesome.
it's called Mark Manson's Momentum Program. I don't know if it's called that. It's called Momentum. I think that sounds better than Mark Manson's Momentum Program. I think I got fancy here.
I like,
Anyway,
maybe you should send that idea to him and be like, hey, better name.
no, I don't like it. I like momentum. I like momentum. But basically, he formed this because to get past the fluff of all the self care and all the self help stuff, and
Love it.
actually put together a group of people who want to make changes and make those changes small wins day by day. So every month, he takes a subject, and every day, he and his team will post on it. And every month has a workbook. I love a good workbook.
Hate it
And
so much.
every month, I mean, you don't have to use the workbook,
No,
but
no.
every month, and you have a little, what's it called? Assignment. And you have to make a post under it's kind of like Facebooky kind of thing, but not
Oh, yeah,
really.
yeah.
I mean, you answer it there. And then other people read your post and give you feedback or say that they love it or just give it a little heart or a little clap. And it goes on like that. So it will shock you. It was values. So we
Oh, my God.
worked on identifying values, and I worked really hard on it. And I love it so much. I've identified some values, but I don't want them to be in the order that they're in. So I have work to do.
Because your values can change.
Because you can change your values, because the way I live more so goes with the value of connection and enjoyment at the top. So I
That makes
just want to
sense.
have fun.
I want to be connected to people and make them laugh. That's me.
Yeah. So I would like to change it around. And also in the top 5 was purpose, empathy, and growth. But
Those are good.
I want growth to be the first one. I want that to be the thing that I'm living by and focusing on right now. And purpose to have an impact, because that's really what I've been trying to do. That's why I started working with Michelle and trying to identify, what I should do in life. Because I also want to start a little side hustle, but we'll get to that. But back to values, I want to share a story that was told on the podcast. So the podcast is Mark Manson and Drew Burney, I think is his name. He's Mark Manson's producer, research,
Oh,
um,
he's this dude.
yeah, he's Mark's guy. And they're fantastic. And I love just listening to them. The podcast is actually 4+ hours, but he has it broken down for the momentum stuff. But if you want to listen to it, you can listen to it for 4 hours.
It's a long time. Like,
It's
I
a
get
long
antsy
time.
when we hit like an hour.
So some of the stuff I thought was really cool. And I know that we've talked about it before, but not to the depths that I actually had to work on it. And we focused a lot on how you need going to be trade-offs in your values, and you have to decide what you want to trade for the value that you want.
Mm,
And then we talked about
that's
how,
really insightful. Like,
and then, yeah.
obvious,
So I
but
want to change. So I want to change my values. So that's how we change. That's one way that we change them or I want to change the order of my values. I want to change the importance of my values. So in order to get growth up or to the top, I'm going to have to pull back on enjoyment. Now, it doesn't mean you neglect it. It's about balance. It's about balancing.
right.
But so maybe instead of playing my farm game every night, so I quit my farm game. Yeah, me.
How will the internet people get wheat?
Right.
I'm proud of you. Seriously.
So yeah, so I gave up my farm game so I could put more time towards my growth. So it's about balance and figuring out what you want to give up for the value that you really want to highlight in your life. So the other thing I really liked was talking about just because someone doesn't share your values, excuse me, doesn't mean their values are wrong, which is something that's really hard for me.
That one's really funny for me because it's such an ADHD characteristic. Like, ADHDers are just hard judgers all the time. But
Yeah.
I'm not. Like, it's the thing that makes me think, well, maybe I don't have ADHD.
See, but I think that's the thing. Like, you don't have to have all of the
Right.
things. That's what I've been thinking
Yes.
about lately.
You don't have to have every single one of them because your life would be a bit more challenging. Yeah, Liv's a hard judger. Like, you're
But
a
yeah,
hard
so
judger.
it's hard to pull back sometimes and realize, oh, this person is acting that way because they value this more than I do. The Drew shared the story that I thought was really cool, and I'm probably going to fuck it up, but I'm going to try to do it a little bit of justice.
Don't fuck it up.
It's the taco truck story,
Oh,
which
no.
immediately I love. And it's about how Drew almost got into a fist fight at the taco truck. So he and his girlfriend at the time go to the taco truck. They order their food, and they go sit at the picnic table. At the picnic table, there's also another gentleman, and they start chatting with him. He's a real nice guy. He obviously has some mental disabilities and real sweet guy, and they just keep chatting with him. And then eventually the guy asks them, "Do you have any spare money so I can get onto the bus? I spent my last bit of money on my taco stuff and didn't realize it." And they don't have any cash. So, okay. So the guy gets up and he goes up to the taco truck and he puts his hand in the tip jar because that was his last bit of money. He put his money in the tip jar. And so he just wanted to get his money back. But the guy who was ordering at the time didn't know that. So the guy who's ordering at the time and sees the guy come up and put his hand in the tip jar loses his fucking mind. Like, starts screaming at this guy, screaming, cursing. So Drew gets up. He wants to help this other guy because he's, they've built some sort of
Right.
connection. So he goes over. He's like, "Come on, buddy, let's just get out of here.
Right.
We'll find you money." Like, not confronting the other guy, just trying to get him out of there. The other guy, the ordering guy, goes in his pocket, grabs a couple bucks and throws it like hand right in the tip jar guy's face like an asshole and continues to yell at him. Drew loses his mind, starts screaming at him. So now they're screaming at each other. They're calling each other names, yelling at each other. The guy starts taking a stance like he's going to start to get physical. So Drew's like, "All right, this is how it's going
Bring
to
it.
be. Let's go."
I choose violence, my friend. Come on.
And Drew's girlfriend comes over and she was like, "Drew, just sit down. Like,
Sure.
so everything calms down. Everything calms down. They end up chatting, shaking hands. The guy has money to get on the bus. Everything's
Fine.
so fine." But as Drew was thinking about it, this is one of those things, like, each person was reacting or acting on how did he put it? A value trigger. So Drew's value that he was focusing on the most was his carrying value, his help, his
Right.
kindness, and helping this guy. The guy who blew his mind was focusing on his value of fairness and
Justice.
not cheating. Yeah, like that's his value. And then Drew's girlfriend, she just wants peace. Like, she just wants everybody to chill the fuck out.
Right. Right.
It doesn't make, like, yeah, the ordering guy, he definitely could have handled things different. I won't defend
Yeah.
some,
Yeah.
but you get the gist of it.
I
Like,
mean, it's your
it's,
value.
yeah.
Like,
And I just thought that was a
again,
really interesting story.
ordering guy is just operating from his value, right? Like, you don't steal that
Yeah.
money.
Right.
Period. End of story. That's my value.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you only have one. Like, I know a lot of people that only have the one value. Like, they're like, this is justice and this is the only thing that
Yeah.
matters. And if
And
I
so
can't tally up the score right, then you're doing it wrong.
yeah. So those were the couple of things, like the balancing of the values, you're going to have to trade one off for the other. So the
Yeah.
balancing, and then just how we act. We're acting on our values, and just because we have different values doesn't mean that somebody's wrong. They might act like an asshole. Okay. But
I mean, you're allowed.
so there's a lot more going on in Momentum. I'm finding it
That's so
extremely
fun.
helpful. I'm doing my work every day, digging into it, not just, it's kind of like coaching with Michelle, except for I don't have her right in my face. I think doing the coaching with Michelle first is helping me do this, but it's definitely we talked about it, I think, when we first started doing the podcast. Like, I could read all these self-help books, but I don't do shit about them. So this is the action part. Like, this is Mark Manson and his team making us do something.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
yeah, I really, really love it.
I also like the idea of it being a zero-sum game because that kind of makes sense to me in a way that maybe nothing else Like, no, I don't recall this in any of the self-help books. The fact that you have a fixed profile and a fixed amount of time, space, and energy, right?
Mhm.
And if you're paying attention and you're feeding these things over here, you're doing that because they're important to you for some reason, right? And until you can swap something for something else, then you're always going to be in the same place. You're always going to
Yeah.
be repeating the same thing. Like, for instance, today was a lesson in sleep and how much I really like sleeping in the morning. And the reason I like sleeping in the morning is because I stayed up too late looking at AI for ADHD instead of actually doing AI for ADHD. So
You'll get there. You'll get there. Don't be too hard on
it's
yourself.
crazy.
Don't be too hard on
No,
yourself.
no, no. But now that you've said that, like things like one of the little ticks that has to fall in place fell in place for me. You can't continue to do the same shit. You have
Yeah.
to figure out a way to determine what has to change. And one way to do that is, as usual, your values. And
Yeah, it
I
always comes back to the
figured them
values.
out.
But
What?
that's why I like this, and it's a daily thing. It's not something that it
Yeah,
just happens. Like it's a constant work and it's messy, it's difficult. And if it's not messy and difficult, you're probably not doing it right. If
right.
you're not a little uncomfortable,
I think
you're
that's
you're
also the trick.
probably not doing it right. Like you really have to dig down and make yourself a little uncomfortable. Like, I mean, there's some other stuff that I'm not going to talk about because it made me feel bad.
Eh,
But
Yes.
I shouldn't say made me feel bad. It made me uncomfortable and made me a little bit disappointed in myself, like things that you learn and you don't
Yeah.
realize. So those things are brought to light. And you share as much and as little as you want with people on the forum. And I'm working with another guy. We're putting together a little accountability group. There's like 5 of us that
Oh
want
my
to be
God,
in
I
the
love you.
accountability group. Like one of this guy's big wins was putting himself out there and saying, I want an accountability partner. Does anybody want to be my friend? And I
Oh
said,
my
I want to
God.
be your friend. I want to be your friend. And
Oh
so
my God.
so we're putting together a little accountability group, which is fun. So yeah, and the other thing that has come out of that is I have developed a mantra and a decision filter,
Oh,
which
tell
is
me about it.
fantastic. So my mantra, I still have to read it because my mantra was just born yesterday, but I super love it.
Amen.
And it is, I choose growth over comfort, alignment over impulse, and the future me over the fleeting now. I don't need it to be easy. I need it to be worth it.
I love it.
And so the mantra, that's what I have to like when I need to get up in the morning and start my day, because that's when I'm at my best is the morning. If I just get the fuck out of bed, like I need to focus on my mantra, and it's not going to be easy, but you got to do it. You have to choose the action over the emotion.
Right. That
And then
makes
my
sense.
decision filter is 3 questions I ask myself when someone says, "Do you want to go to the bar?"
Yes.
Does this feed my growth or just soothe me?
Right.
Is it helping build future me or just killing me? And what am I trading it for? What am I trading for it? So yeah, so maybe I say, yeah, I want to go to the bar. And what am I trading for that? Well, I'm trading time on working on this thing that I'm trying to work on, that I'm getting serious about. So, but it makes you more conscious of what you're actually, that value that you're kind of trading off.
Yeah. It reminds me of when when I was in graduate school. Do you remember when I was in graduate school?
I do.
And everybody else that we hung out with was already grown up jobs.
Uh-huh.
They already had grown up jobs. And if they weren't at work, they didn't have anything else to do. So everyone would just hang out in the hot tub at the pool. Or, on days off, they would go there would be hiking involved. And for a period of a couple of months, I pretended like I didn't have anything else going on. But
Yeah.
I had graduate school, which it turns out was kind of fucking hard.
Yeah.
I was no longer the smartest person in the classroom just by default.
Yikes.
And yeah, at some point I had to be like, okay, I cannot, the price I'm going to pay for going on this hike is then that I don't get to study until 10 o'clock at night, and then I don't get to sleep. So consciously decide if you want to go scurry up Camelback Mountain with a bunch of pharmacists, or if you want to, go to bed like a normal
Exactly.
person.
The great going back to the values, like the awesome thing about them is you should constantly be reevaluating them because they're not set in
Right.
stone. They shouldn't be the same all the time.
No.
The values I had 10 years ago, that's another thing we did the one day was compare your values to 10
Right.
years ago. Like 10 years ago, I was just going back to work after staying home with Owen and I just wanted a job so we could buy shit. Like I literally wanted nothing. Like I couldn't have cared less about anything but just getting a real job again. That's it. Like
Right.
so they're constantly changing and you should always be reevaluating them. So just because right now I want to focus more on growth and purpose doesn't mean that's how it's always going to be, obviously. So that brings up my next thing I want to talk about
Yay.
because I started like for real, not just talking about it, but I started putting together my business plan to get my personal development coaching business started
I love it.
and I've named it. It's going to be Pop Coaching, and that's Plan Over Panic Coaching. And I've decided on my niche, or is it niche? Niche, niche, niche,
Niche.
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 What I'd like to do is I would like to work with young adults who are recently getting out of school. And I think that I think I may have mentioned this before. You know, high school, 4-year college, grad school, whatever it is, at that time in their life where they're like, oh
Transition.
fuck, what did I do? Like, what am I supposed to do?
I
And there's,
love it.
I mean, that's great for some like you who know what you want to do and get to do it. And that's fantastic.
We just fake it better than anybody else.
But then there's me who was graduating with a business major and I had no direction, nothing. And I've lived with no direction pretty much. So that's what I want to do.
I love
And
this.
of course, my vibe, I want it to be real. I don't want it to be all fluffy and shit. Like I want it to be very upfront and understanding that what we just talked about, it's going to take effort. You're going to have to put the time in. And also, I really want to focus on the fact that I'm not fixing anybody. There's nothing wrong with you. The answers that you're looking for are actually in there somewhere already. You just need someone to help you dig them out. So, yeah. So I did my business plan today before we got on our recording.
I am so
Yeah.
happy for you.
Yeah. So
I am talking to a young lady tomorrow about her recently graduated. She wants to get into clinical research.
mhm.
She's got a data analytics degree.
Yeah.
So maybe maybe I send you your first customer.
So yeah, that's the way I want to do it. I want to do a little more. I want to finish up like take a few more actual coaching classes, polish a little bit, which everything keeps telling me don't even like fuck it,
Don't.
like start, like just get started.
Get busy.
So I get 3 beta customers who will get super, super cheap rates and then move on from there. So anyway, I'm working on it. I've gotten to the point where I have, it's plan over panic. And
Right.
that's what it's about. So I'm making steps, I'm making progress, and I wouldn't have done any of that without momentum.
That's awesome.
So
That is amazing. You can't recommend it enough.
I absolutely love it. It's a great little community. And the month of June is about procrastination.
What? I will
So-
email Lynn the link to her interview a little bit later.
So it opens up, there was just one thing, like a little icebreaker, and share the most outrageous or funniest thing that you've done to avoid doing something else. And just on Tuesday, I was avoiding doing procedure updates because I hate them so badly. Hate them. Hate them. You know what I did? I pulled out all of my nail shit, like the UV lamp,
Yeah.
like all the shit, my grinder thing, and
Right.
I fixed my thumb. It was just one singular fingernail that had a little chip in it.
You
So
fixed
I got
it, though.
all my shit out, fixed my thumb, filed that bitch down, fixed my thumb. So I wouldn't have to do procedures.
I took up jujitsu so I wouldn't have to clean the toilet.
Exactly. So I'll share with you
It's
what I
fine.
learned about procrastination.
Thank you. I might have to just sign up and do it with you.
Yeah, I love it. And you get badges and shit, like, because,
Oh, I
people
love
love shit like that. And I'm on a, I think, 16-day streak with getting on there and communicating.
That's so fun. It reminds me of when I did Nerd Fitness. Nerd Fitness does that shit too. Like
What
you get
was
badges
Nerd
and you go on a
Fitness?
quest.
I feel like I remember
It's a
this.
it's right around the same time I was doing CrossFit, so I was really into all kinds of fitness shit. And then this
Yeah,
one is like a nerd who got like strong and buff by
I
tricking
remember
himself
now.
into, walking to the
Yeah.
Shire or walking to Mordor from the Shire. That's how we got in
Okay.
shape.
Okay.
Fun, fun.
I
All
have
right,
only one more thing.
do it. Lay it out.
For anyone who doesn't know already, we had a Memorial Day soccer tournament. So around this time last year, I was freaking out about Owen trying out for this team. And they just played in their last tournament of the year. And I got to tell you, these kids suck. Like, it's not a great team. They're not great. They're not great. We get our asses handed to us. It's okay. It's fine. They're learning. They're having a good time. It's fine. Everything's
It's
fine.
fine.
So
Trust me.
we go to this
It's
tournament. The first team
fine.
we play, they're like our size. I'm like, yeah, all right. We end up winning, I think 3-1. Cool. The next team, I'm like, these dudes are in college.
Were they bigger?
Yes. During the warm up, I was like, wow, we're fucked. This is going to be a bloodbath.
Was their coach British?
No, but he was some sort of something. He was the best coach ever. He was my favorite thing. And we'll get to him later. We'll
Okay.
get to him. He was an awesome coach. Like his kids started complaining about shit and he was like, no. And whatever his accent is, he's a tiny little guy, older with white hair. And
It's when the coach has any accent. It doesn't have to be British.
he had his cute little accent and he was yelling
my
at the
God.
kids for yelling at the ref. He's like, that's not what we do. That's not, we play. We play. It was amazing.
Oh.
Anyway, so I'm like, yeah, we're getting our asses kicked. The first half, they totally outplayed us. They hit the crossbar maybe 4 times, like insane. So it gets to, and when I say they, the other team hits the crossbar. So it gets to halftime at 0-0. I was like, well, that in of itself is a fucking miracle.
We're going to call this one a win.
So I'm cool. Like the second half is about to go bad though. Our kids came out and like, we did not get blown away that second half. Our kids played with them and kept up with them and they didn't give up and they ended up scoring a goal.
Like, wait, the other team didn't score? So
correct.
Your team won?
Well, let me tell you how we scored the goal real quick.
Is this the video you sent us?
No, this is the next game.
Right.
We scored a goal on a penalty kick because our smallest player, Finn, was in and he was in the box. And the defender guy was coming at him as though Finn is the same size as he is. Oh, expecting to hit a person the same size that he is. That is not what happened. And Finn went flying.
I've been there. Yeah.
And so we got a penalty kick, and that's how we won that game.
I love it so much. In my heart of hearts.
Yeah. So it turns out we won. Okay. And then we got beat the next morning. So we had 4 teams in our bracket. We ended up going 3-1. The last game we had was the exact same as the one I just talked about. Bigger, outplayed the first half, yada, yada, yada. Our kids come out the second half. They're playing their asses off. I think that team hit the crossbar once or twice.
My God, stop it.
They have a pretty shitty goal kick that goes right to my child on the 25-yard line. And he decides, because he's tired, he's not going to run with it or anything. He just gives it a little touch and basically gives it a Hail Mary. I mean, he's not going to tell you it's a Hail Mary. He's going to tell you that's exactly what he tried to do.
Exactly what he wanted to do, yeah.
And scores. And there's 2 minutes left in the game. So we beat this team, which is amazing. We go to the finals or championship, and we're playing the same team that we beat via penalty kick.
It's the coach, the accented
the
coach.
Great coach. Yeah, our favorite coach.
Everyone's in college. Everyone flunked.
Yeah, it's amazing. I should add, and this might be boring, and that's fine. I'm going to add it anyway. There were 3 other FC games before ours, and each one of them ended in penalty kicks with our club losing. So we were the last game of the day, and I 100% expected these boys to be coming out like guns a-blazing, wanting to pay us back for getting that bullshit win the day before. Like, we're fucked. We're fucked. It's gonna be embarrassing.
Again, coach with an accent, bigger kids. Now they're pissed.
Yeah. You would think.
No.
They hit the crossbar twice. One of them, they hit the crossbar and then the sidebar. I don't know what, but the one that hit the sidebar hit like on the inside of the sidebar and just bounced right to our goalie.
Motherfucker.
Like
if you're shooting that, you're like,
yeah. I looked at Noah like, oh my God. And we go into overtime. And honestly, in this game, our boys played well. I mean, they played as hard as they could and they didn't give up. And that's what I kept saying. Like, that's what won the weekend is just their grit, that they didn't give up at all. And in the first 5-minute overtime, they scored a goal and held them off for the second 5-minute overtime and ended up being the champions.
That's amazing. I love it. Let's go FC.
Yeah. So it was really fun. Owen loved it. And the goal that Owen scored, it was like for maybe the first time I felt like what it was like to be mommy and daddy, because I was like right before he scored, I was getting like nervous. And so I had to get up and I started pacing the stands, and Noah's just sitting there watching, and he scores the goal and I almost like fall down, like I'm hands up screaming, like almost fall down the stands. I look over and Noah is doing the proud papa, arms crossed,
I love
jumbo
it.
gaster. It was fantastic. So it was a great weekend. And I just wanted to share that because these boys, I was so proud of them for not giving up and just continuing to give it their all.
See, this is the trick. Like we can be all angsty, and I've seen on Facebook like all of the here's the tryout schedule for this
Yeah.
competitive
Yeah,
team
it's
and
time.
here's the tryout schedule. Like, and the amount of anxiety I had
Yeah.
2 years after this isn't an issue for me anymore. Like 3, 4 years after we were actually trying, 5 years after we're actually trying out for a team.
Yeah.
Like the PTSD I had just looking at all these tryout schedules, and then still, because I'm me, I'm like lining up the dates and I'm like, these motherfuckers, they have theirs 1 week later.
Yeah.
Oh, and these two have them on the same day, so you have to pick.
Yeah,
Assholes.
it's very strategic and dumb, I think. I don't know. But FC does some like I think most players do that. Like Owen already has his offer for next year.
Yeah.
Like they do an early tryout with the boys in the spring. So, and in fact, their tryout is next Friday, and Owen can't go because he's getting his wisdom teeth out.
Right.
So
And
we
there's
don't even have
like,
to go through it.
I have to plan the vacation around when soccer tryouts are. It's totally a bizarre thing.
Yeah.
But at the end, your kid's going to find a team where they fit in and they're having a good time and it's not so over the top crazy.
Yeah.
And like the lessons that those kids are going to take out of that are so much more than you got to be the best guy on the team when you're 8.
Yeah,
Do you know what
for
I
sure.
mean? Like, I love it. It's why we play sports. In fact, I was having a conversation again with somebody I work with. What's up, Booker? About the difference between people who played team sports when they were growing up and people who didn't, and how they navigate the workplace. Like,
Yeah.
wildly different approaches for these two groups of people. And not that one is better than the other one, of
No,
course, but
just a different approach.
you can tell like-minded people work well together.
Hmm.
It's crazy. But yeah, I mean that's the good stuff that comes out of sports, and you just
Yeah.
have to keep your parent crazy in check, and you have to keep their kids crazy in check and
Yeah.
hope for the best.
Yeah, one of the games before us, there was a dad who was just wow, and there was some karma that happened. Yeah, and it was sad. And then, like talking about values, I was like, oh, I feel so bad for the goalies. And this wasn't even in a penalty kick. This was something else. I was like, I feel so bad for the goalie. Noah was like, why? I was like, because I have fucking empathy.
Right. I feel so bad.
He's like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I feel bad for him too.
I don't know if he thought like I felt bad, like he scraped his knee, like.
Like, he's not hurt? God, heaven
Anyway, I
help
think
us.
we could wrap it up.
I
I think
hope
we have
so.
plenty for
Good.
Becca to edit. All right, let's sign off. You hit
Okay.
the button.
Hold on.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.